Hey YouTube, it's Monica, and today I want to talk to you about a new bill that is being introduced in California that has the potential to negatively affect homeschool in California as well as in the rest of the country. This bill is called SB18, and it was introduced by Senator Pan, and it is definitely a wolf in sheep's clothing. So on the surface, this bill sounds lovely, right? I have it right here in front of me, and I'm going to link to it in the description. So I really want you to read it yourself. It's really short, guys. This is it, okay? And I really want you to take the time to read this because it's very important and it's gonna have very negative impacts for homeschooling. I just know it. It says the legislature finds and declares that all children and youth, regardless of all kinds of things like gender and sex and ethnicity and blah, 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 sounds wonderful, have the right to parents, guardians, or caregivers who act in their best interest. Number one, right? So if you don't do all the following things, of course, you're not acting in your child's best interest, okay? But, you know, they don't say that, right? They just sounds, of course, kids have the right to that. Kids have the right to form healthy attachments with adults responsible for their care and well-being. Think about this for a second. When the state makes they propose a bill that says that kids have the right to have healthy attachments, then what do they have to do? They have to define what a healthy attachment is. So I guess that anyone can come in your home and say, well, that's not a healthy attachment. Your kid has a right to a healthy attachment. We better take your kid away and put them somewhere where they can have a healthy attachment as we've defined it. The right to live in a safe and healthy environment. Again, on the surface, it sounds wonderful, but we don't know how they're going to define this. That's scary. Right there, this whole thing is written very vaguely. We don't know how they're going to define any of this. What is a safe environment? What's a healthy environment? Hopefully we agree with what they say a healthy environment is, but the government of California is going to tell us what a healthy environment is, and if we don't have it in our home, well, our kids have a right to that, so they're going to be taken away. That's the next obvious step, and that's why this is so concerning. The next one is that kids have a right to social and emotional well-being, and on the surface, that sounds fabulous, right? Who wouldn't agree to the fact that kids have the right to social and emotional well-being? The problem here, again, is that the state has to describe what that means. And how could this affect homeschoolers? Well, there are a lot of people out there that think that homeschoolers are not getting socialized properly. So I think that social well-being would not be satisfied by homeschooling according to whoever's going to be clarifying this law. So that's a problem to me. I think that my kids are very well socialized, very healthy. I've talked about it in a lot of my other videos, but a lot of people who are completely ignorant about homeschooling would disagree. And they're not saying what they mean by this with this proposal here. So that's frightening. This one's good. The right to opportunities to attain optimal cognitive, physical, and social development. Optimal. Okay, so they're going to decide what optimal means. We're thinking of social development, cognitive development. So two things are going to happen with homeschooling. I mean, it's going to happen if this bill passes. They are going to either say that there's going to be a lot of strict rules, a lot of onerous, obnoxious, strict rules applied to homeschooling to make it very unpleasant. Or they're going to make it illegal. One or the other. One or the other. They are going to define what it means. They have to. You can't make a law like this saying that kids have the right to attain optimal cognitive, physical, and social development without defining what those things mean, right? So someone has to make a decision on that. The problem is no one can agree on that. That's what currently makes the state of things so beautiful, is that everyone can decide for themselves what it means to have a good education, what it means to be well socialized. Because I'll tell you one thing, my opinion on what well socialized means is totally different from your average person. I don't think it's good to have my kid thrown into a school with a bunch of kids who are like on their iPads all day and looking up a bunch of things they shouldn't be looking up and showing it to my kids, and teaching them a bunch of words they shouldn't learn and ideas they shouldn't have in their heads. Personally, I think that's a negative socialization. A lot of people don't think like I do, and there's no reason to make everyone fit into the same mold. The right to appropriate quality health care. Who wouldn't disagree with that? Kids deserve appropriate quality health care, right? Except for when they make this law, then they're going to have to define what that means. So have you ever disagreed with your doctor? Ever? Have you ever asked for a second opinion? That becomes difficult with a law like this. When they say kids have a right to appropriate quality health care, and so you disagree with your doctor, and the doctor calls Child Protective Services and said, look, this kid deserves appropriate quality health care. They have the right to that, and the parent is not giving that to them. And in comes Child Protective Services. So I hope that that gives you just a basic understanding of this bill, and that you can understand how dangerous it is, especially that it is written so vaguely and so broadly. I am putting a link to the bill in the description. Please read it, and please understand this is not just California's problem. This is the whole country's problem. They tried to introduce something similar in the UN, and the US won't ratify it. So this is not just a United States thing. There are big powers at play that want to have a lot more control over education and healthcare, largely with children. And it didn't work with the UN. At least the US won't ratify it, that part. And now they're trying California. They're trying a different tactic. They said, well, okay, well, let's start with one state, and if we can get it to pass there, then I promise you it will go to other states. So even if you don't live in California, you need to really take this seriously. The next thing you need to do is to contact your representatives if you live in California. I have posted a link where you can find your representatives in the description. Just go to the description, you can find a link, just click on that and you'll find your representatives. There's just a couple people you need to call. It's very quick. You say, look, I don't support SB18. I'm very concerned that it's written so broadly that it can be dangerous for parental rights and for child safety. Just very quick, and they're just going to make a note of it. It's just some person working in the office. You're not going to actually talk to your representative. You're going to talk to that person. And then here's the key. If it's just you calling and it's just me and it's like another 1,000 people, they don't care. They don't care. What they care about is losing their job, and they're scared that they're going to lose their job if they get thousands of people calling. So please, the next step is to get at least 10 of your friends to call their representatives and tell them they do not support SB18. And that is the only way, my friends, that we are going to beat this at all. Otherwise, homeschooling in California is going to be very, very, very different if this bill passes. So I hope this was helpful to you. If you like it, please click thumbs up, and please share it with everyone that you know. Have a great day.